Today's guest is someone who truly embodies what it means to build, rebuild, and evolve, both in business and in life. Hilary Musser is a real estate developer behind a $42.5 million project and has spent over 20 years immersed in the Palm Beach social and business landscape, one of the most relationship-driven and exclusive markets in the country. Many of you may recognize her from Netflix's Members Only, but her story goes far deeper than what's shown on the screen. It's a story of entrepreneurship, reputation, relationships, and navigating high-pressure environments, both privately and publicly. Today we're diving into all of it: real estate, reality TV, and everything in between. This is Disrupt for Good. Hilary, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on Disrupt for Good today. I have been so excited to have you on for quite some time, and I watched Members Only on Netflix and got a great insight on who you are, and now I'm so excited to really dig into more on really what you do in Palm Beach and more insight on really who Hilary is in general. So I'm excited to tap into all of it today.
Right. Thank you, Dylan.
Um,
Excited to be here.
Thank you. So I really wanted to first discuss, your involvement in real estate, because I think that's so important, as someone who's been involved in real estate just recently getting into the game. I think as someone like you, been involved in real estate now for quite some time, I want to hear your perspective and everything that you've been doing. Um, when did real estate first come into your life, and what initially pulled you into it?
Well, I've been buying and selling real estate for um, 30 plus years, and I started to develop real estate, build my own projects on Nantucket in 1996. And I started my own building company in 96-ish, 96, 97, just by happenstance, because the general contractor building our house abandoned the house in the middle of winter, and we got there and it was filled with sand. And so I brought in my own crew and I had my own company, Barclay Fine Homes. And then when I moved to Florida, my son was young. He was 2 and 2.5. And I thought, that I would take a break from the building and go back to venture capital. So I did that with John Scully and this guy, Sean Heininger, for like 3 or 4 years. And then I got the bug again to start building. And then I thought, in order to get the good deals on the land, I ought to get my real estate license and ultimately my broker's license so that people would call me before the land became on the market. And that's really worked out well. I've bought 2 out of 3 of my spec project lots off market, and that's worked out really well for me. So, I really became a broker for my own purposes, but then word of mouth happened, and one person hired me, and then another and another. And this year, just since October, I think I've done like 30 million. Um, so in 3 or 4 different properties combined that
That's
I've
incredible.
sold, that were my listings. So yeah, so it's grown into, a good size real estate company run by me, and those are all my deals. So I do have 3 or 4 women working for me, but um, you know, uh, those are my transactions that I'm talking about, not theirs. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. And you are originally from Nantucket, or are you just you had a project up there that you were working on? Can you kind of explain kind of your trajectory to get down to Florida? I'm really curious on how, you got or made your way down to uh the South.
How did I move to Florida? I'm
Yeah.
very distracted because I have to show you something. Hold on. This very beautiful creature, oh, is scratching at my door, my Bernie doodle. I wanted to show him to your audience. He's like a teddy
Wait,
bear.
I love all dogs.
Scratching. Winston. Winston was
What's his
scratching
name?
at the door.
Winston?
Winston.
So cute.
Yes. When he comes over here, I'll show you.
Yes, please.
He's now laying down under the table where he hides all day.
Oh,
So I lived in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, and then in Nantucket as well. We would go, in the summertime and part of the fall, maybe some of the spring, visit a little bit in the winter, for Christmas stroll. And I was getting divorced, and a lot of my friends did the Nantucket Palm Beach route. So it was a natural thing. One of my friends said, just come hop on our plane and come down. And, it was over the summer and look at some houses in Palm Beach. It's a good time to buy.
right.
Uh, Maybe you should live down there. I don't think you're going to be very happy in Nantucket in the middle of winter. I lived on the ocean on a dirt road, with no street lights, with, my nanny and my son and myself. And she was like, you better, like, you got to go to Palm Beach in the
Pack your
winter.
bags.
You're going to be like bored out of your mind in Nantucket in the middle of winter. That had, the population goes from whatever it is to, a few thousand people.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like all the snowbirds are flying down there, and it's depressing in the winter, I'm sure, like when it gets dark and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of drinking going on in the winter on Nantucket, I think, because there's most of the restaurants are closed. I mean, maybe not so much anymore. It's a little bit more people have moved there full time, but it's cold, dreary, dark. Yeah, a lot of the
yeah,
time.
that's incredible. And when you got to Palm Beach, how did you go about building your name and credibility in a market that's so relationship driven?
Well, I knew a lot of people here to begin with. That's how I came here. I mean, I have a lot of friends in Palm Beach, both from the main line in Pennsylvania, Boston, where I'm from, and then Nantucket. So I had an automatic friend group, you know, and I didn't really have a problem. Sort of, I automatically was sort of welcomed into Palm Beach society. I moved on a street right next to Mar-a-Lago, and which was not a political place at that time.
Right.
And the house came with a membership, so I made a lot of friends over there playing tennis. Anybody who had a young kid, which wasn't that many people, I met a lot of people at school. For my son Cooper, who's 22 now. So yeah, I mean, it was really easy for me to assimilate into Palm Beach society.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, not everyone has it that way. And we saw it through the show, obviously, for some of those characters that couldn't easily make it through,
Right,
and making it into that society. So it's great that you had that experience.
right.
And I see that picture behind you of you playing tennis. It looks like you are incredible. Are you still involved in playing tennis?
Well, that's Chrissy Everett, but
Oh, it looks just like you. That's a
I
big
play a
compliment.
lot of tennis, very involved in tennis. I'm on a team still. Um, you know, so it's a great. It's
Yeah, it's
middle-aged
amazing.
ladies tennis. Although my partner is 30 years old, and we play at a pretty good level. Like we have a lot of fun.
That's incredible. Yeah, it's great that you're out there and
I like
having
to
a good
bring in my ringer. She was a couple years ago 350 in the world.
time.
We're playing against other pros, so they're good matches.
Yeah, that's so much fun and might as
Yeah,
well get like have fun, break a sweat, and yeah, I think tennis is
yeah.
so much fun. And now pickleball also is like the new thing as well. So
Not for me.
yeah, not for you.
No, I'm like how I refuse to go to snowboarding. I'm refusing to go to pickleball.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, you should stick to tennis. I agree. You've built a strong reputation in a very tight, high stakes market. What did that actually take, especially early on?
For me, it was just networking among my peers, and I never really advertised. So everything that I've done is word of mouth. And I've definitely, been able to build my business that way. I would, I would take an ad out in the Palm Beach Real Estate Guide, but, I did very little newspaper advertising, very little magazine advertising. I did a little bit. Um, it was just the personal networking. Real estate is a business of trust.
It is.
People are trusting you with one of the biggest events of their lives, whether it be buying or selling a home, even if it's a second home or a third home, it doesn't matter. It's still a big event. So I think that just being myself and who I am and having the reputation in business that I've had, which is pretty, very clean and stellar reputation, people were, you know, comfortable with me and you know, my direct and very honest perspective. I think it's important when working with somebody on the purchase or sale of their home that you be very direct and honest. I think I'm known for not, you know, not not putting on the glam,
Right.
just saying, look, this is what I think, this is what's going to happen. And, listen, sometimes I make mistakes and maybe I overprice or I underprice. I mean, we're not all perfect.
Absolutely.
Um, but I think I've been fairly spot on my projections and people have been so far, um, you know, very happy.
Satisfied customers.
I've had satisfied customers. I mean, everyone I've purchased for is thrilled. All of their houses have gone up exponentially in value, especially the ones on the water, because I've always encouraged people to buy on the water. And then, the ones I've sold for people, I got a record sale for a client in October on land and a house on South Flagler. Um, only half on the water with no dock at 21.5 million. That was really a record sale,
That's incredible.
especially, in that location. Um, the highest price home sold on the water in West Palm is 28.5 million. The highest land is 21 and a half. And that, and that's right near my house, directly on the water. I got 21 and a half across the street from the water and only half of the property across the street from the water. So I think they're very happy. I established a new record for South Flagler, which is what I try and do always. My $42.5 million spec house, while worth every penny, right, will be another record. But
Absolutely.
it's a 13,500 square foot house. It's all done with Patrona, so Ferrari leather. They make all the leather for the inside of every Ferrari, the seats, the dashboards. The kitchen is done by them. The wine cellar, the closets, all the furniture is at the highest level. All the light fixtures, everything is from Italy. Every door, beautiful 14-foot frameless doors made of Cypria oak everywhere with matching floors. I mean, it's an outstanding piece of architecture inside and out. And that will be another record when I sell it
Yeah,
soon.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of that home and it's absolutely stunning. You did an amazing
Thank you.
job. And I actually wanted to dig into that as well because I feel like I have not seen something like that done in Palm Beach before, at that magnitude. So I think a lot of people out there, I'm sure, have some questions and want to know some more detail into that project because I think it's so unique and so special.
Thank you.
Um, what
Well, ask
exactly
away. What do you want to know?
what exactly was the vision behind that project? I'm sure, it took some time to acquire that land. I'm sure it didn't just fall into your lap. It looks like, a beautiful piece of property. And what did it actually take to bring it to life? I'm sure it took a few years, as well to really masterfully find, all of those materials that you were just discussing. So really, all in all, that timeline must have really taken a really long time to put it all together.
Well, the land did fall into my lap.
Oh, and, well,
Uh,
even better.
there was another woman buying it who owned a lot of land, and she, at the last minute, backed out of the contract and decided not to close. And the seller had it under contract for 5 years, all through COVID, with somebody else and had to close. So he'd been carrying the house for 5 years, and he had already decided to move up to Jupiter and had another piece of land under contract. So he needed to sell it. And then his buyer dropped out. And I don't remember if I'm sure he got to keep a good sized deposit. And then he called me and one other builder who was building on the street and said, we have to close on Friday. And that was like on a Monday. So I had to move quickly,
Yeah,
right? Very quickly. So I did move very quickly and I bought it. So I did not take a lot of time. I just knew the area. I had lived on South Flagler Drive, 3 or 4 streets down, um, 3 or 4 years before that, when I moved off the island to live on the water in West Palm Beach in 2010.
wow.
And I've been here ever since for the last 16 years on the water in the same 2 mile strip in three different houses over the last 16 years. So it was just like that. And then I hired an architect right away. I'd seen his work, Affinity Architects out of Boca, and I started designing the house. Then we had to go through the permitting process. So by the time, and then I had to get a demo permit, demo the house, clear the land, bring in a lot of soil, build retaining walls. And by the time I did all that, it was another year. So 2 years in, we started building, and that was 2 years ago in June. So I'm at the 4 year mark right now
Wow.
on that project, and I'm like just still doing punch list items on the house. But the house is done, it's for sale. We've had a lot of interest. And so, I'm hoping to sell it very soon.
That's incredible. Yeah, it looks beautiful and it looks like you did an amazing job. So, congratulations.
Thank you. I think it's the culmination of 30 years worth of my best work all put together in one. It's definitely a special house from this, looking at it from the outside, but even from within, it's modern and large, but it's so unique. It has a second story pool and, beautiful, unbelievable kitchen from Patrona Fra that you've never seen before. I
Oh,
mean, it even has, you know, this leather trim everywhere.
yeah.
Even half of the refrigerator handle has got this leather trimmed. All the shelves are lined in leather. It's really stunning.
Yeah.
And it's wipeable. You can wipe it all off. It's not, it's like a car seat.
It's not for
It's
show.
not perishable, really. So it's beautiful, and the marble that they brought in, and the workmanship, and the installers from Italy. I mean, this house is like a handcrafted piece of art.
Yeah, it sounds really timeless and
Yeah,
it sounds like you put a lot of time and effort into it, very
a
meticulous.
lot.
Amazing. Do you think once you sell it, this is it, or do you think you would ever go for another project, in the future?
You have to ask me that after I sell it.
Okay.
Now I've got still have people doing punch list items, and I just want to be done.
Right,
I
I'm
want to be
sure.
done, and I want to sell it. I
You
want to
want to take
get
a
through
breath.
that phase.
Yeah,
Never want to build another one when I'm at the end of a project. I always swear off building forever and ever
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm
till
sure you
another
would
piece
break.
of land comes my way.
Absolutely. Yeah, and this seems like it really did fall into your lap. It seems like an amazing opportunity. So, it's great.
Right.
Um, Real estate development is high risk and high pressure. What separates people who actually succeed in that world from those who don't?
Well, first of all, I take on most of the risk myself. So I don't take on any partners. So I'm not subjected to deadlines from other people and things like that.
Right.
I can pretty much write my own ticket. Um, and I think that when you have partners who are knocking on your door looking for their money back or um, anybody like that, it's a totally different ball game. But I've been doing this for so long and I always fly solo.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's a great strategy. Well,
Yeah.
because you don't need the assistance or any of other people's opinions or extra chef's
No, I mean, on this one,
either.
I have a construction loan, but that's the only people peeking over my shoulder a little bit.
Yeah, and that's amazing.
Right.
Absolutely. I think that's great advice. I want to, discuss a little bit now into members only. I'm sure some of our audience is interested in hearing some so-called, what people would say, tea into that chapter of your
Are
life.
you looking for juice?
Yeah, I think that's what we'd like to call it. And I think why not? Let's dive into it. Are you ready for that?
Sure.
You're like, sure, reluctantly. Um, I want to discuss what originally drew you to members only, and did you hesitate at all about putting your life on camera?
Well, I think it's always something that you have to think about, right? I mean, I didn't. I've been asked multiple times to be on television, and generally the answer's been no. At one point, I explored uh, a tennis show with my friend Jill Zarin, but that never came to fruition because we both love tennis. But um, oh, do you hear him crying? It's because his dad just walked by.
Is that
Winnie,
Winston?
Dylan wants to see you. Come, 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 come. Here we go. Now this is adorable.
So cute. Hi, Winston.
Like he's like a teddy bear, right?
No way. He's so
Look
cute.
at him.
Oh my
That's
God. He's like the perfect size.
I know, and he's just.
He
Doesn't he
like
look like a
curled
puppy?
up. He curled up on you. It's so cute.
Yeah, he's a
Oh,
cuddler.
the
Anyway,
best.
so
How old is he?
7,
That's
but he
amazing.
still looks like a puppy.
Yeah, he does.
So members only came to me just at a cocktail party with Taja, one of the girls on the show, saying, "Hey, would you consider, interviewing, doing a Zoom call for this show?" And I'm like, why not? And when I got picked, I had been interviewed and filmed for a Palm Beach housewife show 15 years before that, the very beginning of the franchise, sort of. And um, it never came to fruition, and I never signed the contract. I got nervous and backed out.
That's
And
valid.
the show was all over the papers being, not happening. And it's with all my same friends, that I have now. But, but, I had a young child at the time, and there were reasons that I didn't think it was a good idea at the time. Now, um, I thought it was a great idea, right? I had a new husband and he was super funny and game for doing it. So, it's all about your spouse. My son was out of the house, although he's an actor, so he probably would have loved doing it back then, but that's besides the point. Um, I just thought it would be good for my brand to help me build my brand awareness through the show, kind of like probably why Ryan's doing it.
Absolutely. That is why he does it.
Yeah. So I thought it was a great opportunity, good timing for
Yeah.
me. I was building the house, so I had a story, a good story going with that, and everything was just coming together. Right time, right place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you have a different story to share versus some of the other, maybe other women that were on the show, because of your real estate background and maybe other, elements of your life as well, which I think is great. I'm sure that's what Netflix probably seeked in some of the characters on the show, um,
Right.
which is wonderful. Um, what did the filming process look like? Like, how long was that process, and when did that filming take place? Because usually that Palm Beach season is throughout the winter time, when most people are down there. So is that when that filming and production took place?
Yeah, we started late last year and then we came out, not till December 29th. We just 3 months ago was when the show, you know, aired.
Right,
Uh, so it was, and it was in the, didn't really start filming until the end of February. So it started filming late into
oh
the
wow.
season. I think um, we would start earlier. But we missed that this year because we didn't even air the show until December 29th.
Right, and you didn't
Sort
know
of
what
forces
was
you
gonna.
into skipping um, a season.
Right, because you didn't really know what was gonna be until the show.
Right.
Right. And speaking of
Really?
which, did you guys, or can you say if you guys got greenlit for next season?
No, we don't know yet. We're just at 90 days.
Okay, and typically I think it's around 90 to 145 to know if you
Yeah.
get greenlit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little early. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure, I know the show is doing really well, so I'm sure you guys are gonna be.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it was top 10 in 11 countries.
Yeah, so you guys will
Yeah.
be more than fine. Um, what's something about filming that people watching at home would never fully understand?
The amount of time that it takes just to get a scene done, it can be 10 hours, you know, just to film one scene was a lot of long days, sometimes 6, 7 days a week for 2 months straight. So it was a lot of work,
Yeah, I'm
a
sure it was.
lot of work. Yeah.
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 It sounds like it. And I mean, they condense it all also into that, whatever it is, 50-minute time frame. So it's, I'm sure, a lot of work to just minimize it into that 8 episode or so amount of time.
Well, right. I mean, what you don't realize is all this work, and then you see all this stuff, or you don't see some of the things that you put so much effort into. They just didn't end up in
Yeah,
the
it gets
show.
minimized. Yeah, and it's a lot of work I know for you guys as well to, you know, get yourselves together, as
Right. I mean, I put on a whole, launch party at my spec house. And I guess, there wasn't enough drama that night or something, and it wasn't on the show. So
yeah,
that's the surprise for me is like learning what it takes to get a scene on the show. I think you have to get all the other girls. Sure, that night was kind of all about me, and maybe there wasn't enough um, zazing with the girls to make it interesting to show.
yeah, next time you gotta call them up beforehand and ask them for a little
Yeah,
action.
can't you put on
Put
the
on a
show, put
show,
on the drama at my launch party?
please.
I don't want it to end up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah,
So I think
please
you
do something.
learn, how to navigate. Of course, it was my first time, so
Right.
I learned some lessons.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm sure that party took a lot of effort as well. So I
That's right.
okay.
That's right. That's absolutely
Okay, well, that's good for next season.
right. Well,
Um,
we want to show the house finished next season. Yeah.
right. And I'm sure we'll make it next season. Um, looking
Well,
back
hopefully the
now
house will be gone and sold. So we'll have to shoot that footage before I turn
before
the house over.
absolutely. Well,
Right.
that's definitely the goal. What's something or looking back now, is there anything you would have handled differently on the show?
Well, that, right? I
Yeah.
mean, anything that I put a lot of effort into, that was really the only big scene that I had that was cut that was
Okay.
important to me. There was nothing else I did that I cared about that it was cut or not.
Hmm.
Um, all of my personal scenes were in there with my family, with my son. The Mili Miglia party, the Ferrari party was great. It was in there.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
amazing.
any of the small dinner parties I did at the house, they were all in there. That was the only thing. Oh, the yacht wedding was in there. That was a great scene. Um,
Awesome.
So the only thing that didn't really make the show for me was that lunch party. And I was kind of, I was a little hot about it, you
Yeah,
know,
I understand
'cause
that.
that was really important to me because it was my spec house.
Yeah,
So I think what I learned is, how to navigate with the producers and say, look, I don't want this on the cutting room floor. What has to happen here tonight to make sure we make the edit?
absolutely.
What are you looking for out of this night?
Yeah, well, talk to me, we'll make it happen.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yes,
So
exactly.
I think I need to navigate that when something is important to me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you definitely, seem to get good airtime this season. I think like you were definitely someone that I thought was one of the main, I would say, characters on the show, which was so amazing to see because I loved watching you in general and like seeing what you had to say and, you know, showcasing your life as well. So that was wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I I'm not really, I think quality is better than quantity, to make sure your scenes are really good and not, doing things just to get airtime, but having genuine, scenes about your life and what you're doing and
Yeah.
doing them with integrity is what I did. And it worked out for me. I didn't really fabricate anything. They just really actually followed my life and what I was doing anyway.
Absolutely. And the audience will notice and pick up on that as well. It'll come off as manufactured to people behind the screens 100%. And you can tell when someone's authentic versus the other way around. So it's clearly noticeable.
I did have a tennis party at a client's house on their tennis court, and I was a little disappointed because I'm a big tennis player. So all my tennis friends I invited, and they were all like, "Yes, can't wait for the show to come on and see myself on TV." And then none of them were
No.
on.
Yeah.
So
Mm. So
I was,
we need a
yeah,
second annual tennis party next year
a
for season
second
two.
annual tennis party with the negotiation that we have to make it interesting enough to stay on.
Add a little drama. Maybe bring what's her name? Who's the Gail Brophy? Whatever her name is over there?
Oh, I don't know about that.
I actually want to ask you a question about her. Um, she mentioned what was referred to as real Palm Beach versus West Palm. Do you think that distinction is overblown, or does it actually matter in those particular circles?
Well, it depends in reference to what, right? I
Right,
mean, you know, without referencing my feelings about, Gail and her comments, I would further reference just the reality of what life is like in Palm Beach. And there's no longer that, oh my God, you're going over the bridge? Well, what's it like over there? You know,
right.
Many of the billionaires have sold their homes and they live in the Bristol, which is on the same street where I live, the beautiful tower, where you can buy a penthouse for 40 million or something,
Yeah, it's
So,
insane.
so there's no longer a stigma about living here. And, and my house that I built is for sale for 42 million. My own house is beautiful right on the water. And it's more about people not differentiating so much West Palm Beach versus Palm Beach, but not wanting the insulated, insular society of Palm Beach, to be depicted in a way, that it's not. And the confusion about the show. And then certainly I am a Palm Beacher. I've lived here. My son went to school here. Whether I live there or I live in West Palm Beach, I've lived in both.
Right.
You know, um, you don't change from a West Palm Beacher to a Palm Beacher if you move over the bridge, in my opinion. It's all, you know, sort of one place, but, separated by three bridges. Um, but I think some of the discussions that you may have heard revolve around whether or not, all of the women on the show really represented Palm Beach society. And they weren't meant to. That's the
Right.
part that people don't get. It wasn't a story about all Palm Beach women society at all. It was a story about um, a select group of five women, of which I was one, and their lives and how they fit or don't
Exactly.
into Palm Beach society.
And that's
Not
okay as well if they don't. Exactly.
right. I mean, I think people liked my character because I was very authentic, but they also loved Ramina, right? Because Ramina obviously didn't fit in, but she unapologetically said, "It's okay if you all over there don't accept me.
Exactly.
Then I just will be me, who I am, right? Living in Boca, and I'll stay here if you don't want me. I don't care anymore." So when she starts the trajectory of the show, she really cared, and then she legitimately didn't care. And I think she realized maybe that it wasn't as alluring or exciting as she thought it would be, especially if it wasn't her crowd.
Right.
And so, she was a little younger than everyone. And maybe that's not a place where she fits in as well as she could in Miami or wherever.
Absolutely.
So she accepted that. And that's why people liked her. It's why I like her because while she was allured by, the Palm Beach, mystery, she realized after spending actually in real life a little time there and more time around myself and other people, she realized, you know, maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's not my jam. And that's okay too,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So I think the story and the misconception of the story among, and it's really just a tiny little crowd of people in Palm Beach because most of them are like, I love the show. It's a lark. And I have to tell you that sort of the most successful, established, very wealthy people on the island are like, Hilary, I loved it. It was so great. It was so much fun. And then you might have people that are a little bit more, in the social climbing category that are like, oh, those people aren't anything like the rest of us. And it's like, come on. They weren't ever trying to be, right? It it was almost a joke.
Yeah.
It was a spoof on Palm Beach society. And it was television and entertainment, you know?
Exactly. I think it
Yes.
was meant to be lighthearted, and like that's the only, and that's what it was meant to be, period. And I
Yeah.
think that's like what people need to remember at the end of the day. My thing though with the comment about West Palm versus Palm Beach was that Gail almost had a negative connotation or a negative spin when she was saying that, which I thought was kind of silly because when me, someone from New York who's not really from Florida, I look at an example like the Hamptons, where you're kind of almost thinking like, oh, like West Hampton or Southampton compared to East. Like it's kind of something like similar to that, maybe in comparison, where someone's kind of having that negative spin versus one area versus the other. At the end of the day, who cares? It's the Hamptons and it's whatever, it's what you
Oh,
make.
beautiful,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So
Yeah.
whatever. I just thought it was, that what you just said is exactly the way I feel as well with the show and with, areas when people kind of have that spin to it.
Well, it was a little hypocritical on her part since she lives
There, right?
West Palm Beach, you
Yeah.
know, and not even in the
In like this
exclusive,
glamorous like
not
area,
even in
right?
the exclusive part of West Palm Beach, which is you know, between the Middle Bridge and the end of South Flagler. That's the really exclusive area. El Cid, Prospect Park, where I live, so south of Southern. Those are the three areas that are the estates of West Palm Beach, and that is not where she lives. So, and I don't dislike Gail at all, but it was hypocritical of her to say that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I thought so as well. But
Yeah.
it was very interesting. Um, where do you stand with the cast today? I saw a recent podcast, almost like a reunion episode of all you guys together. But where do you all stand? I saw you kind of sitting there. It seemed like you were in good standing with everyone, but something might have happened recently with you and Roslyn.
No, I mean, not really. She imagined, as she has many times, that I was interested enough in what she was doing that I was trying to dig up dirt on her. And I assured her that I was very busy with my own stuff
Of
and
course.
not spending any time on that, nor have I ever.
Right.
So after assuring her of that, she was like, oh, okay, we're good.
Okay, good. Yeah.
It's people's own insecurities or whatever. I heard, you
Of
know,
course.
but I think that also is probably for show because
Yeah.
it wasn't true. I'm fine with everybody. You know, I don't have time to hang out and go out dancing with the girls like they seem to be doing. It's not my jam. I'm happily married and, you know, I'm very tied up with my social life here and my work. So, I'm not really socializing so much. I do talk to Taja often, um, and I see Rosalind a lot at parties. Um, and I just say hi.
Yeah, you guys are cordial. That's amazing.
We're cordial, yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like you and Taj have a great relationship and a good friendship.
Yeah, she lives a little bit far away, so I don't get to see her that often, but we do have a good relationship. And the other girls are great too. I mean, Ramina invited me to go to the Elton John Oscar party with her, and I couldn't go. But
That's
she
amazing.
invited me, which was nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, I guess
Yeah.
she thought I would be fun, which is good because I'm so much, more much older. She ended up going with somebody else who was younger. I think she probably had a better time.
I'm
But
sure you would still be a great time. You seem like you're great.
no, well, I'm just saying, I didn't have time to go, So there we don't really talk much, but um,
Yeah, but
when
that's
we
how some casts go, and it's fine, when you're off season and you all have
I don't
busy
talk to
lives.
some of my best friends for months at a time. I don't have
Yeah, and
time.
that's all good. And you seem like you have such a busy life going on. I heard you're also writing a book. So, like, I'm sure that you're so preoccupied with everything that you have going on that it's
Right.
valid completely to, be involved with everything that you have going on.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I work literally, I said I work 18 hours a day and I wasn't kidding. So, I'll be working till 9 or 10 tonight as usual. And
that's great though.
that's just the
If
way
that's what
it
you
is
love
for
to
me.
do, that's what you love to do. It's good.
I was out at the spec house early this morning. I will be again. I was in the gym, then the spec house, then, a stop at an errand at the seamstress, and then back to the house to meet with my assistant and get ready for my podcast with Dylan Gateman.
Yes, and I'm so thrilled and honored to have you on today. This has been such a amazing time.
Thank
Um,
you.
and I want to ask you, as the summer is coming up, I think a lot of Palm Beach, residents, a lot of people that are down there, I'm just curious, usually move back up north or travel or venture out elsewhere. What do your summers typically look like? I was just curious.
Well, I'm focused right now on the spec house and finishing the punch list and getting my certificate of occupancy, which I should have in a week or two, and in selling it. So I'm I'm here
You're
till I
staying
do that.
put.
And I'm not making any plans to go out of the country. I'd like to kind of see what's happening in the world right now.
It's crazy out there.
I don't like to travel while we're in the middle of a war.
I don't
Hand
blame
in,
you.
I have tons of friends in the Hamptons, tons of friends in Nantucket. I have a friend with a birthday party who's going to plan it someplace fabulous that I know I have to go to. I have a wedding, I have events to go to. Um, I'd love to go to the Calgary Stampede on July 4th. I've always wanted to do that. And my birthday is July 11th. So probably in that time frame, I'll plan something.
Our birthdays are close together. I'm June 23rd.
Oh,
Yeah,
fab.
yeah. So are you also
So
a Cancer?
I am.
Oh, that's why I knew I liked you.
See? Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's why we get along.
Nice.
Well, yeah, that sounds like a great summer plan, and it seems like you have a lot on your plate. So I don't want to keep you any longer, but Hilary, this has been an absolute joy, and I've loved talking to you, and I love Members Only, and I can't wait for season 2. I know that you guys will get greenlit, and I know there's more to come. So thank you so much for taking the time today. I know that you're extremely busy.
Well, I was happy to do it, Dylan. Best of luck to you.